Hey guys, how you doing? My name's Into the Ether, and I've decided to finally start putting out the odd little video. We'll start off with kind of track walkthroughs of previous releases, and then over on my Twitch, which I'll link down in the bottom, I will start doing live streams of me kind of creating a track start to finish, and then the kind of best bits, I guess, we'll put onto the YouTube, or maybe kind of broken down version. So if you want to see the whole process later on, I'll do it on Twitch, and then I'll upload kind of essentially track walkthroughs like I'm doing here, with tracks that are kind of making the future. So the first one I'm going to do is my remix of Tigers by Christian Burns. We'll go through, probably take 10-15 minutes, and we'll just kind of go through each section, starting with the drums, kind of what I've done, and then we'll go through how I started with the track and so forth. We'll start off here with the drums. I'll kind of mute my mic now, and we'll kind of just go through the sections. So obviously that's just a kick drum. Not much going on here. Tiny bit of EQ, taking out probably a section sound that I didn't like. Give it a little boost in the highs. I do usually, if I use this kick, I tend to usually layer something on top, which I'm guessing is why I've put that in there, but I've ended up using an EQ instead. Claps, I've got one left, one right. Again, a bit of EQ. Probably exact same on both of them. I don't usually do that, to be honest. I don't usually have two separate claps, but for whatever reason I did here. Hat, close that. Along with this. Again, it's going to be probably basic EQ. Yeah, don't know why that's on there. That's just, must have added that by accident. Open hat. Bit of room on it, followed by a sidechain. And an EQ again. A top loop. And a shaker. Then we've got this percussion loop from Bounted Divides pack. Sometimes I'll use loops for layering just to add a little bit more, I guess, depth. Sometimes I will take a loop and I'll chop parts out and then rebounce it. You've got this top loop and this tom drum. We'll go through what we've got there. Sidechain, a bit of EQ, shaper box, EQ on that. Again, the same again. Put all of them together with the kick drum. You can see with them kind of loops, it just adds a little bit of energy. So that's all of that. So then we'll go through to the next section. The basses, right. The original bass that I've used is a preset I had from Serum, which I believe is from Discord somewhere. So I had that, obviously with the sub bass, and it just wasn't hitting hard enough for me. So I laid it, so I got a Model D, I laid it with this. And it just added a bit of grit, and I say a bit more energy to the track overall. So if you listen to it overall, without that in, it's just not cutting through the same way. So I added that right at the end. I think I made the whole track without that and then added it in right at the back end. So that's that. Oh, I didn't go through what's on the drum bus, did we? A filter, just obviously, so I can filter out the drums in certain sections. Compressor, more EQ, dynamic EQ, and a tiny bit of reverb. The bass, I've got nothing on the bass group, but obviously on the individual basses, again a filter, more EQ, obviously shaper box, same with the sub. I got a bit of saturation, just to give it a little presence. Compressor, I guess to try and give each note the same kind of weight, as well as close as possible. And a mono EQ on the lead sounds. See, this is from the original. That was one of the original stems I used. And then I obviously just made that. The diva sound. Again, filter. All the usual stuff, bit of reverb, bit of echo boy. Bit of EQ. We have this kind of counter melody. Using Omnisphere. Bit of OTT. Again, reverb. H delay. I never use H delay. Don't know why I've used that there. It's not something I use very often. But I forgot I even had that. And then a filter. I don't think we've got anything on this one. I don't know what this was even for originally. No idea what that is. It must have been something I was trying out before and then didn't stick with. And then again, a compressor and a bit of OTT in the group. Let's go for the pads. I think I muted myself there, but yeah, basically, just add a bit of dynamic EQ on the group, and obviously they're already sounds. Each one individually. Quite a bit of EQ on there, a bit of soothe. Obviously an OTT and a compressor. That string system of basic EQ. This pad. Some quite drastic EQ. Don't know what it sounded like originally. Obviously I didn't Didn't like them sounds, so I pulled them out. Right, the atmospheres. Obviously, there's a vocal chop in here, which is from the original. So when I do a remix, I pull every single stem in. I don't know if I still got them in here. I probably haven't. I'll pull all the stems in, and then I'll delete anything that I know for a fact I'm not going to use. And then I'll tend to keep maybe 3 or 4, and then do what I can with them. Obviously, for this, it was the main vocal and these kind of vocal chops. That vocal chop, which is from the original, and then I kind of chopped up one of the vocal chops myself to kind of give a slightly different rhythm. Filter, OTT again, more EQ, and a shaper box. That's got nothing on it whatsoever. And then these birds, I tend to use this kind of thing in every track. Usually this one or a kind of rainforest. Bit of compressor. Obviously a bit of shimmer. And then basic EQ. I mean, it didn't sound that different. It just pushes it back a tiny bit. And then the FX. Basic white noise. Using silence. Yeah, bandpass and silence. Obviously cymbals, and then the vocal, which is obviously the main section. Now with this track, how I started was obviously with the vocal, but I believe I started with the first drop. I wanted the energy to pick up a little bit there, so obviously that's where I brought more drums in. Here start to bring in that kind of ARP lead, kind of tease it. And then obviously bring the chord changes in to kind of really start ramping things up towards the second drop. And that string kind of really adds a new dimension to the track based off the first drop, which is obviously when I'm writing music, I always like the second drop to feel different to the first. You hear a lot of music and I feel it sounds quite copy paste, whereas I like the track to be quite, not drastically different, but it needs to be different. It needs to have kind of extra layers to it, for me. And that's kind of it. That's kind of like the basis of the track. Obviously, this is the first time I'm recording this kind of thing, so I'm a bit kind of scatterbrained all over the place. But as I do more, hopefully I'll get more comfortable kind of going through them. In terms of the pre-master bus, nothing with that. Bit of Oxford inflator. There won't be much going on here, to be honest. It's a limiter on there. That'll just be for myself. That would have been turned off before I bounced out a pre-master. So that I literally would have just had that on for my own uploads for feedback and whatnot. I guess I originally had this on for the air thing, but didn't bother using it. There's barely anything going on there. Ever so slight bit of compression, but and obviously the inflator's doing a little bit. Have I got that on the drums as well? No. So usually I'll just use that on the drums. It's adding a little bit. Yeah, I think that's basically everything. So I want to try and do these weekly, whether it be tracks that are already out or ones that I work on. To kind of show you how I'm starting tracks. The next track I will do my track Arda, but that was in FL Studio before I moved to Ableton. So I wanted to put an Ableton one out first. We'll get through Arda next, and then I'll probably go through kind of my back catalogue and do a few tracks. And then I will start streaming, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. Probably Wednesdays, Thursdays as my days off, and obviously Sunday. But I'll work something out. I'll work some kind of schedule out. I'll probably do one start to finish a week, probably on a Wednesday, and then maybe I'll stream other days, but maybe more chill out streams, whether it's me to start gaming or whatever, I don't know, but we'll see. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe, follow me on Twitch, and we'll go from there. Peace.